Hi everyone, welcome to the last segment of the video, which is the final exam. Now, in this particular opportunity, I would like to say congratulations that you have successfully survived the course, and at the same time, I hope you have fun as well with the video, with the lecture video, with the tutorial, and so on. Most importantly, I hope you have learned something from this course, because that is why you study in the first place, isn't it? All right, so without further ado, let's get started. Now, I hope you're not like Homer here, that trying to revise last minute. I'm not sure what's going on. So in this particular video, I would like to just helping you what is going to be some of the things that might be asked in the exams, and also some of the things that you should watch out before sitting for the final exams. Great. Okay, so first of all is that you need to use one of these approved calculators. Now, only these two calculators are going to be approved in the final exam, which are the Casio FX and the HP10. Now, I believe that if I'm not mistaken, some student has told me that you are getting the HP calculator. And if you are getting the HP calculator, try to check whether if you are getting the decimal point right, and the information on the decimal point can be found under the exam session. I have put some information on how you should set your decimal places, especially for the HP calculator. Now, some of other calculators are not going to be approved, so just make sure you bring the right calculator, because that's probably the most important thing. Now, the exam is 50%. And be reminded that this is actually the hurdle unit. All right, so this is the hurdle unit. So hurdle unit means that you need to pass the exam. So it means that you need to get 25 out of 50% in order for you to pass the course. Because if you successfully get more than 50%, but you didn't pass the exam, that means that you are actually failed the course. So just remember that. So it's hurdle unit, and the length itself is 2 hours and 10 minutes. It is going to be a closed book exam, and please be reminded that this is going to be the paper-based exam. So you're not going to use Excel. You're not going to use a tablet that is in front of you. It will be a normal paper and pen basis. So please make sure no Excel. Okay, so no Excel and no computers. Now, the tentative exam time, now please check your site just to make sure that whether it is correct. But as far as what I've been told, it is the 4th of November 2019, which is basically the earlier exam time, and it is in the PM section, so it will be in the afternoon. But please check, all right? So please check the updated exam time. Right, so this is still the tentative. I'm not sure whether this is actually the correct exam date, but as far as what I've been told, this is what it is. Now, in the final exams, there are 7 equally weighted questions. I repeat, there are 7 equally weighted questions, and these questions correspond to a week in the syllabus. Right, so we have 12 topics. One topic is the recap. All right, and so basically out of one recap, you have 11 topics left. Now, out of these 11 topics, you will have 7 questions in the exam. All right, so each question corresponds to a week. So out of 7 weeks, so we're going to choose a random 7 weeks, and you are only required to answer any 5 of the question. I repeat, you are only required to answer any 5 questions. So any 5 that you are comfortable with. Now, each question can have several parts or even subparts. Once you actually nominate, or once you actually chose that question, you then have to answer all the questions subpart or parts regardless. So if you choose question 1, so you have to answer question 1A, 1AB, or if they have subparts, you have to finish them all. Now, if you actually be strategic, so you have 2 hours, and 2 hours corresponds to 120 minutes. You are required to answer 5 questions. So if you do the math, right, it will be 24 minutes per question. Okay. So just remember that the time allocated is about 24 minutes per question to make sure that you finish all parts. So formula sheet will be given and provided in the exam. You don't have to bring or print one, but you may want to print one for your practice. Now the formula sheet that we uploaded in the Moodle, it will be exactly the same formula sheet that you will get in the final exam. So just make sure that the formula sheet, use that, practice that, because the numbering or the order will be the same. Now these are some of the sample questions. Now you will get some of these questions in the exam practice. So if you look at here, so we label question 1 and we actually say what is this question is about. Okay, so this is market share analysis, which we actually go through that in week 3. So you can see that they explain to you what is this all about and some of the questions here. So if you decided to do question 1, then you have to do the parts, which is part A, part B, and the subparts. So these are the subparts, you have to do them as well. So same thing if you decided to do question 3. Now question 3 is solely concerned about bus model. You have to actually do all of them together, right? So you can't really choose, all right, I just want to do question 1 part A and question 3 part A. That is not allowed. You only can choose the question. Once you choose the question, you have to do all the subparts. Couple of students trying to be very smart. So you know that you have 7 questions and you are expected to answer 5 questions. Now some students, they are playing smart and they say that, okay, if I have time for 5 questions, I might want to do 1 more. So I will submit 6 questions and hoping the tutors or the lecturers will mark the best 5. Now, if you actually assume that, then your assumption is not right. If you decided to do more than 5 questions, what we did was we only going to mark the first 5 questions of your choice. So let's say if you do question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, then we only going to mark the first 5 and leave the last one unmarked. So we are not going to care about the last one. So if you do more than 5, you are not going to be better off. So I repeat, if you actually do more than 5 questions, we are going to mark the first 5 questions only. Now the practice question has been uploaded and it's ready. You can pick on that. You can start working on that. I suggest that you try to time yourself to see whether you can meet the 24 minutes mark. And the solution will be posted up by early week 12. So it will be somewhat next week. So I will give you time to practice and try your best to see whether you can actually do them. My suggestion is do all questions in the practice exam paper. So we have uploaded the practice exam. Try to do all questions, although you are required to do 5. But try, for practice sake, try to do all of them. And also, if you have noticed, at the end of each week, we normally try to put the practice exam questions as well on top of that. So try to attempt that you have your answers has been uploaded as well. So you can just check to sort of reinforce your understanding. And I would suggest you to go through each and every lecture slide, because the content that we are going to test probably more on the lecture slide, a little bit less on the tutorial, because the fact that you're not going to bring your Excel to the exam. Having said that, you need to understand the operationalization. So it means that you need to understand why this particular column needs to be times by that. You need to understand the theory behind that, but we are not going to ask you something about Excel specific questions. Now, consultation. So we are going to schedule 3 consult. So 3 consultation. Each of the consultation is taken by the respective tutor. So the current date, this is still tentative, right? The first consultation will be somewhere on week 12 and early STUVAC, and I think about 3 or 4 days before exams. All right, so I repeat, we have 3 consultations. One is somewhere going to be scheduled in week 12. One is somewhere scheduled in the early STUVAC, and one is probably 3 or 4 days before the exams. And we have 3 teaching teams, so each of us will take 1 slot of this. So if you really have some questions, some burning questions, $1,000,000 question, please do come to consultations and we will try our best to help you. So just remember that the consultation is not going to be the mini lecture. It's more about to actually reinforce your understanding or try to re-explain what's the concepts happening. So you don't come to consultation and say, all right, David, teach me something about bus model, right? We are not going to cover that. But if you have a specific question about bus model, then yes, we can actually help you to really understand about that. Okay. All right. So thank you very much for all your attention, help. I hope you have fun. So good luck and all the best. And yeah, I hope you are not getting tired with my Simpsons joke. Do say hi, because I probably don't know most of you. So if you happen to see me or if you happen to hear my voice, please say hi. Oh, I do remember you, David. It's a pleasure for me to teach you for the past 12 weeks. And the questions that I've been getting and the feedback that I got from my students are really good. They're really excited about the course. So I'm glad to really help each and every one of you. But yes, so if you do really need anything, if you have some concern, please do talk to me. And thank you very much. All the best.